Good morning. We'll just give a moment to make sure that the waiting room is cleared and that folks are connected to audio and can hear us. Good morning. This is the voting hearing of the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional testimony accepted this morning. We'll begin with the license premise inspection hearing, which occurred on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Item number 1, Game On Fenway LLC, doing business as Game On Sports Cafe, located at 72 to 82 Lansdowne Street. Date of the incident was December 11th, 2022. This was a 911 call for a staff versus patron assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
Thank you, Danny. I couldn't find enough there to find an assault and battery or a violation based on the testimony.
Yeah, I agree. There wasn't enough on this one.
I agree.
No violation. Item number 2, Galway Inc. doing business as The Harp, located at 85 Causeway Street. Date of the incident, January 15th, 2023. Intoxicated patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and assault and battery staff on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
This is the bar actually found the patron on the floor, is that correct? That's this one?
They alleged that he fell outside on his own.
Okay. All right. That
They removed him. They found him in the back, remember? And then they removed him.
They removed him, yeah. I didn't see enough here for violation.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, my notes were bleeding into the next one, so. Oh, the top ones were bleeding into this one.
So no violation for number 2.
Yeah, no violation.
Item number 3, the Boston Leco Corp. doing business as Legacy Boston, located at 71 to 79 Warrenton Street. Date of the incident, March 4th, 2023. Employee on patron assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, did you have a chance to review the videos?
I believe I reviewed enough of it. They gave us a lot of video, but a lot of it really wasn't relevant as far as I could tell in this video. But
Okay, just double checking. It was hard to determine who started the fight, but it was clear to me that an employee, the bouncer perhaps, came out of the blue and hit the patron, causing him to fall and break his jaw. The fight wasn't in self-defense. It wasn't to stop a fight. There was, at that point, in my estimation, there was no more fighting really going on. The bouncer came out of the blue, knocked the guy down. So I see a violation there, and I take major issue with the fact that this was a 2-year employee and he has not been fired. I asked before I was able to review the video what was the status of the employee, and the answer was that he was suspended pending the outcome of the criminal investigation. So I was curious to see what the videos would show us. And to me, this was egregious on the part of a 2-year employee, and also egregious on the part of management to not fire him immediately. So those are my comments.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I think that it was pretty. It was a lot going on, but yeah, it looked like on the part of the establishment, more could have been done.
so I would second all your comments. I would add just a little bit. I want to say on the record that I didn't believe that there was any kind of allegation that the victim was going to cut anybody or anything like that. I think that was probably made up. That the assaulter, the batterer, the employee, he was out there with bad intentions from the get-go, I saw. And I was also, I want to doubly second that I don't see how they can look at this and not have already fired him. It's concerning that they look at this and say that, we need to see how this shakes out. it gives me pause, like, what are they looking at? You know? And the other thing is, he's kind of out there alone, like, I'm concerned about the lack of intervention of this big kind of brawl going on. Like, he's like the only one there, like, where are, like, 3 and 4 employees trying to get this thing under control? So for all those reasons, I saw an egregious violation.
Thank you. I don't believe they have a history of this type of violation. Is that correct, Annie?
The board has found no violation recently for assault and battery. The last violation they do have was from January, where they received a warning for a patron on patron assault and battery.
Even putting that aside, I think this is in its own category, and my vote would be for a 3-day suspension.
I have no problem with ramping it up. 3 seems fine. I didn't know where I wanted to go with it or whatever, but I could go for 3.
Yeah, I agree.
How do we take any action as far as like their inaction on this? I mean,
Well, that's why I moved to the 3-day suspension. The patron,
any guidance or written, like, what do we
Yes.
say about it?
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I think there has to, I think, in as well as the written determination of the 3-day suspension, I think there needs to be some training on the part of staff, like real training on the part of management as well. And I echo your comments, Commissioner, that you take pause when you realize when you saw what happened and realized the management did not fire this 2-year employee immediately. I'd like to see all levels of management and staff trained, professionally trained, how to de-escalate.
Yeah, and a report back to us of how that went and what that consisted of.
Exactly what kind of training they took.
So
When the training was done.
do they have a security plan? Do they have a dispersal plan?
So they do, as part of that January 5th hearing, the board did request a security and dispersal training plan, which was submitted to the board. So there is something on file. So the question is, what is the board asking for them to do now? Is that just confirmation that training has actually occurred, or what is it the board is asking for now on top of the 3-day suspension?
There's a lot of professional training programs out there, trainers out there, and I think this establishment needs to invest some money and research into which training would be appropriate for this type of place. Emphasis on de-escalation, crowd control.
Dispersal. I mean, if we asked for a dispersal plan before, I mean, this was a chaotic dispersal. So, I think that goes right into, ramping up the suspension.
Yeah, I'm looking for evidence of real training, not someone writing a paragraph or 2 and faxing it over to my email, telling me that they trained their staff.
Me too.
This was not what I was expecting to view on the video after I heard that an employee was put on suspension.
Yeah, I was really shocked.
So it sounds like violation, board is voting for a 3-day suspension, and on top of that, the board is requiring that all staff be trained professionally. We want some evidence of a training for all staff that specifically focuses on de-escalation, dispersal, and crowd control.
Including management, yeah, owners.
Staff and management. Okay. Thank you. Item number 4, Endeavor Hospitality Group LLC doing business as Warehouse Bar and Grill located at 40 Broad Street. Date of the incident February 18th, 2023. Patron on employee assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
There was testimony from both the patron and the owner about exactly what happened and who put their hands on what, whether it was a jacket or on his person. And I can't determine exactly what happened, but the patron was asked to leave and he did not leave. And the owner had to remove him. And based on that, I don't see a violation here.
Yeah, under the circumstances of him refusing to leave, I don't believe any battery occurred that rose to the level of a violation.
I agree.
No violation. Item number 5 will be rescheduled to the next available hearing date. Item number 6, CMG 10 PO Square LLC, doing business as Marielle, located at 10 Post Office Square. Date of the incident, January 28th, 2023. Assault and battery, patron on employee in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. And assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
In my estimation, this assault was not the fault of the licensee, or was it foreseeable? So I didn't see a violation here.
I agree.
Item number 7, Paris Entertainment Inc. doing business as Kaze Shabu Shabu, located at 1 Harrison Ave. Date of the incident, February 7th, 2023. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
Unfortunately, the owner, who is alleged to have slapped this person, wasn't able to join us in person. And they did not preserve the video as requested by the police. I'm not able to find a violation as was noticed in the incident report. However, I do think that this should be docketed in their file, and there should be correspondence from the board to this owner. They have zero history, but I think this needs to be put in their file. It's hard to know what happened because he didn't show up.
Yeah, I don't think we had enough, but I think it was partly due to the actions of the licensees, so I'd like to see some documentation of it, yeah.
And Danny, in the correspondence from the board, if we could please put in writing that they need to train their staff about the cameras and preserving the footage. I think there was a communication problem there. The owner, I think, understood from police to preserve the video, but that was not communicated to anyone else. And then the owner did nothing about it.
That makes sense. Correspondence from the board.
I almost feel like all of these establishments need to get some sort of reminder about preserving video, just in case there's any incident at all, whether there's been even a violation or not. They're just, we're hearing too many times of like, oh, it got written over, and it's just.
Yeah. I think that that's a great thing the board can put out there. How we enforce it is another story, but I think it's something we could consider putting into another advisory from the board.
I was just going to say we can certainly put out an advisory on this. That's a great point, Commissioner Saxon. Item number 8, South Diner LLC, doing business as South Street Diner, located at 178 Neeland Street. Date of the incident, February 26th, 2023. Employee on patron assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, pepper spray, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 15A.
I'm just going to note for the record, they were not written up for failure to notify the board for an employee carrying a gun, and they should have, but that's not before us today. We have an allegation of an employee on patron assault and battery with pepper spray. Based upon the testimony, I think this employee acted appropriately. He was defending himself. He gave several warnings to the patron that he should back off, I'm going to spray you, and the patron didn't. I was persuaded that this was in self-defense. So I don't see a violation there, but I do feel it's necessary to work with this licensee as far as notification about armed employees. I know it's difficult to determine the way the board's rules are written, that we need to know which employees are armed, but we can work with that, whether it's the person at the door, or it doesn't have to be necessarily a name every time, but so that the police can identify who there is armed if the licensee feels they need to have armed security.
Yeah, I don't know how convinced I was that it was completely in self-defense, but on the other hand, I don't know if we have enough to say it was a violation either. So.
Sorry, I talked right over. I gave my I didn't let you guys discuss before I gave determination.
Yeah.
Keep going, you can, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't, how do I or we feel about like pepper spray? It's not a firearm or whatever, but I feel there's something inappropriate about even just deploying it in this context. I don't know.
Well, I don't think our rules are clear about it. I think they should be, and that's something Danny and I have discussed about revising those so that we have more clarity for licensees, but
Right, the rules only mention armed security, which is not defined anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
that's
may be
kind of what
pause.
comes to mind here. That's really what I'm concerned about here. I don't, I don't know what we should.
I think we should ask if someone's gonna have pepper spray to let us know too.
Yeah.
It is a dangerous weapon. And we can work on amending those rules.
Right. Yeah, I agree with no violation.
No violation, Chairman Joyce, did you, I apologize, did you
Sorry.
mention there was correspondence from the board that you wanted on this one, or is this?
No violation, but I would like to send correspondence and address the issues we talked about. I don't want them to not have armed security because they don't know how to communicate to the board who is going to be armed with guns or pepper spray. I think that's something we can work directly with this licensee. If they have a security team that is armed, but we can talk about that offline.
So no violation with correspondence from the board around their obligation to notify the board if they are using armed security.
Mhm.
Item number 9, LCY Inc. doing business as Jade Garden Restaurant located at 18 to 20 Tyler Street. Date of the incident, February 16th, 2023. Patron on patron assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
I see no violation.
I agree.
Yeah, no violation.
I agree.
Item number 10, SZA LLC doing business as Shabu Zen located at 78 to 80 Brighton Ave in Alston. Date of the incident, December 1st, 2022. Persons under 21 in possession of alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34A, 34C, and 64 to 64A.
So this is tricky because they did use a scanner. The scanner scanned the licenses as valid, but we weren't able to determine from the testimony or the incident report whether or not those were Massachusetts licenses that they scanned. So I see no violation here.
Yeah, I think the case fell a little short. Do we any correspondence or, I mean,
Yeah, correspondence.
where are we taking them at their word on the using of the better scanner? Or should we docket it that they said they're gonna purchase the better scanner?
Sure, we can put that in our note, in our docket. They're gonna upgrade it.
I wanna, if we have them again, I wanna remember that they said they were getting the better scanner, so, it'll, whatever testimony they have as far as scanning it, we can be reminded of it.
Yeah, I agree. Mhm.
No violation, correspondence from the board and docket that the testimony from the licensee was that they were investing in a better scanner.
Mhm.
Item number 11, Statiris Group LLC doing business as Stats Bar and Grill located at 77 Dorchester Street in South Boston. Date of the incident, January 14th, 2023. Overcrowding, 202 mechanical count, capacity 190. In violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.03J and 1.06A and F.
So they were over by 12. They were very cooperative. They quickly got into compliance. There was something about the testimony that I found very believable, that they truly did not believe they were overcrowding. I don't think it was an attempt to cram more people in. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, when the number is this close on a capacity this high at 190, I can't say for certain that, there wasn't a little discrepancy in the count that they would have been closer. So I didn't see a violation.
I agree.
No violation. And item number 12, New York Pizza Inc. doing business as New York Pizza located at 435 Massachusetts Ave in Roxbury. Date of the incident, March 11th, 2023. Expired ISD certificate in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9, and Board's Rule 1.02B. And no manager on duty in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9.
So I'm gonna try to focus on what they're written up for. The expired ISD, they did have one, it just wasn't posted, it should have been posted, I think we addressed that at the hearing. I think what the bigger issue here to me is that there was no manager on duty multiple times when our officers showed up to try to get a signature, to try to drop off the incident report, to try to notify them of the hearing. And it makes me wonder if they had had a manager that night, perhaps this wouldn't have turned into what it ended up turning into. Those are my thoughts off the top.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before, every licensed business, I mean, they need to be in the care of someone that if it's not management, it's someone that management has deemed responsible and ready to take on not only issues with customers, but communicate with the police. So
Yeah,
that's their duty.
And they have to give the message to employees when the police show up. Part of cooperation is accepting and signing one of these incident reports. So I see a violation of some sort for no manager on duty.
I agree.
I agree. And it wasn't just one time that there wasn't a manager on duty, as you guys said, so.
So sounds like a vote for a violation on the no manager on duty. The expired ISD is every
No issue with that.
no issue. Okay. So as to the violation for the no manager on duty, as to the disposition on that,
I'm gonna say a written warning.
Warning sounds good.
violation, any written warning. Moving on to the transactional hearing, which occurred yesterday, Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. Item number 1 had been previously approved by the board. It was only on the agenda for a clerical error. Item number 2, 311 Boss LLC, doing business as 311, located at 605 Tremont Street in Roxbury, has applied for a common victular license. Manager Carrie Coe, hours of operation 5 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item number 3, Rebel Restaurants Inc., doing business as Lawn on D, located at 420 D Street, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Kristen Bonish.
I vote to approve Ms. Bonish as manager of record. I believe she is the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 4, Sweet Rice Thai Sushi Inc., located at 187 Main Street in Charlestown, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Nadasit Nit Sakulchai.
I vote to approve this person as manager of record. I believe he has the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 5, EAHG Boston TRS LLC, doing business as Hotel aka Back Bay, located at 154 Berkeley Street, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to William Brodsky.
I vote to approve. I believe Mr. Brodsky has the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I agree.
Item number 6, the Catered Affair Inc., doing business as the Catered Affair, located at 700 Boylston Street, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Karen Lynn Patton.
I vote to approve Ms. Pattern as manager of record. I believe she has the appropriate character and fitness to serve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 7, Sobo Bistro LLC, doing business as Chilicates, located at 69 L Street in South Boston, has petitioned for the approval of a management agreement between Sobo Bistro LLC, doing business as Chilicates, and Cocina Abreu 7 Inc.
I vote to approve the management agreement. That's it, right?
I agree.
Also the rest, yes. I'm sorry, Commissioner Saxon.
I agree.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I was trying to read and talk at the same time.
Item number 8, High Street TRS LLC, doing business as High Street Place, located at 100 High Street, has petitioned for the approval of an additional management agreement between High Street TRS LLC and Sugar Skulls LLC.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item 9, Hot Eastern Restaurant Inc., doing business as Friendship BBQ, located at 40 Harrison Ave, has petitioned to change the category of the licensed business to a common victular 7-day wines and malt beverages with liqueurs license.
I vote to approve the addition, this new category. I believe they approved the public need to change this to wine, malt, and liqueurs.
I agree.
Item number 10, Spin Boston LLC, doing business as Spin, located at 30 Melcher Street, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business to 12,750 square feet of ground floor, 6,739 square feet of second floor, and 1,800 square feet of the basement of an 8-story building located at 30 to 40 Melcher Street.
I vote to approve.
I do as well.
Item number 11, BPM Events LLC, doing business as Boston Public Market, located at 100 Hanover Street, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business to in one large room on ground floor of 100 Hanover Street, approximately 28,000 square feet, to exclude stalls 3A to 4B, 37B to 39B, and selling wall 2, as shown on plan on file with the licensing board, with seating areas, prep areas, kitchen, restrooms, and storage and office space on ground floor, together with a seasonal April to October outdoor patio on private property with 48 seats and a 10 p.m. closing hour.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item number 12, 21st Inc. doing business as 21st Amendment located at 150 Bowden Street has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business to premise consists of 1,944 total square feet, including indoor space and outdoor seasonal patio space. Indoor space includes 1,604 total square feet in 2 rooms, with dining for 28 in one room, bar seating for 26 in another room with total capacity of 96. Kitchen, storage, walk-in fridge space, and 2 bathrooms, all located on the first floor, and 2 exits, 1 public entrance. Indoor seating hours are 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days per week. Outdoor space is an annual seasonal patio on public property operated April to October, including 342 total square feet with 2 side-by-side seating areas, handicap ramp with 5-foot clearance for access, dining for 36, custom-built structure surrounding all 3 street sides of the patio, 36 inches in height with Jersey barriers, and open on the sidewalk side. Outdoor seating hours are 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday.
Before I vote, I'd just like to note again for the record, this is an example of one of our temporary patios that has now become our first permanent patio out of that program. I vote to approve.
I do as well.
I agree.
Item 13, TJ Liquor Mart LLC, doing business as Wells Liquor Mart located at 1772 Dorchester Ave in Dorchester, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Ma Laxmi Corp. doing business as Dorchester Liquors at the same location. Nick Patel, manager, closing hour 11 p.m. And has petitioned to pledge the license and inventory to TJ Liquor Mart LLC.
I vote to approve the transfer. I vote to approve Mr. Patel as manager of record, and I vote to approve the pledge.
I do as well.
I agree.
Item 14, FHM Hospitality Inc. doing business as Anthem located at 100 Faneuil Hall Marketplace, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Boston SF LLC doing business as Sugar Factory at the same location. Kevin Silva, manager, 2 a.m. closing hour, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed premise to premise contains basement, office, kitchen, storage, first floor, 1 interior room covered in uncovered annual patios on private property, and second floor, 2 interior rooms. Premise also includes 1 balcony and has entrances and exits on South Market Street, Faneuil Hall Marketplace, and an unnumbered exit on Chatham Street for stock. Estimate square footage, 2,773.
Thanks, Danny. I vote to approve the manager of record. I believe Mr. Silva has the appropriate character and fitness to serve. I vote to approve the amendment and the transfer.
I agree.
Agree.
Item 15, Paris Seaport Inc. doing business as the Paris Creperie located at 60 Seaport Boulevard, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Zazzy Bar Corp. doing business as Zazzy Bar at the same location, Orly Roberts, manager. Has petitioned to change the closing hour to 2 a.m. Has petitioned to amend the description of premise to on ground level and basement of mixed-use building, public facing component on ground floor with bar seating, table seating, restroom and pantry area, kitchen, storage, and walk-in cooler located on lower level, annual weather permitting outdoor patio on private property for 35 patrons with a 12 a.m. close on the outdoor patio. And lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to Seaport BC Retail Owner LLC.
I vote to approve the transfer. I believe they are already approved by us. Is that right, Danny? The part of this or no?
I'm sorry, which part?
Was this number 15?
This is number 15.
Okay, I vote to approve the oh, he's already approved as a manager of record.
That's correct.
Okay. I vote to approve and I vote to approve. Well, we've already approved Mr. Roberts as manager of record.
I agree.
And there's also the closing hour and the pledge.
I vote to approve the closing hour and the pledge.
I do as well.
I agree.
Great, thank you. Item 16, Kachi LLC doing business as La Cancun, located at 192.5 Sumner Street in East Boston, has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to Mexicali Sushi Bar, Inc., doing business as Mexicali Sushi Bar, located at 199 Sumner Street in East Boston. Closing hour 2 a.m. Manager of record Roberto Trujillo Fajardo, and has petitioned to pledge the license to Boston Local Development Corporation.
This board already found public need for a license here. So I approved this purchase, and I believe we already approved the manager of record. Is there anything else that's outstanding, Dan?
The pledge as well.
I vote to approve the pledge.
I vote to approve all.
I agree.
Thank you. Item number 17, Gangotri Corporation doing business as East Broadway Market, located at 869 East Broadway in South Boston, has applied for a retail package store wines and malt beverages license. Manager Michael David Gannon, closing time 9:30 p.m.
Thanks. Taking a look at this application and all of the correspondence the board received before the hearing and since the hearing, I wanted to talk about a few issues. This is the City Point neighborhood of South Boston, which I do not believe is saturated with beer and wine licenses. I appreciate the concerns that were raised about its location to a school and a church, and I know the board is not supposed to approve licenses within 500 feet unless we determine that this license would not be detrimental to the school and the church. I don't believe it would be detrimental. We have a letter of non-opposition from the pastor at the church. We have lots of letters of support from parents at the school. I'm not as familiar with this neighborhood as maybe some other people are, but I don't think there's anything near here until you get to L Street, which is more known as like the business district of this neighborhood. It is a variety store. I don't think they're trying to be a liquor store. They sell a variety of items. The owner is well known in the community. He is spoken very highly of as an owner and as a community member. I think he would operate in a professional way and prudently. And what was persuasive to me is they are only going to turn over 20% of their offerings to beer and wine. It looked like it was one rack of wine and half of their cooler to cool beverages. At the abutters meeting, it was mostly support, and I think it was looked at as a true amenity for this neighborhood.
I think it's a close call. I was persuaded by the letter from the pastor at the school, but my concern is, are we gonna have is the license gonna be limited to that small percentage? Is it gonna state it on the license?
I'm concerned about that too. I don't want to suddenly see these turning into package stores.
I would only be comfortable saying yes if we could limit it specifically.
I don't think there's any reason why we can't put on the face of the license where the alcohol should be or what percentage of it is, because their floor plan describes it pretty clearly.
And the support is conditional on it being limited and not cutting into what they already offer.
Remaining a variety store, offering a variety of things.
Yeah. So I do think it's a close call, the support and his opposition. I think the 16C issue really, we have no reason to believe that it would be detrimental. I don't have any reason to believe that it would be detrimental to the educational activities. So I don't think that really limits us here. But I think with the opposition I think it would bring maybe more business, more drive-by business and stuff like that. So I think that I would only be comfortable saying yes if we could specifically state how much we're limiting them to, what, you know, whether it's square footage or a percentage of sales or whatever.
Not to interrupt Commissioner Saxon, but to support what you're saying, Commissioner Kern, we could actually perhaps put on a condition of the face of the license. Any changes to the floor plan would have to come back to us. Would that make you more comfortable?
I think so, yeah. So what should we say about the limitation? So how should we state it?
We could date the floor plan as it was submitted to the board and say any changes to the floor plan that was submitted and approved on June 29th need to be brought back for board approval. And we
Okay.
could write that it, because it literally says half of the cooler and then there's like one rack of wine. I think they also put it to no singles, correct?
That is correct.
I think I'd be comfortable with all that. I'd be comfortable saying yes with those provisos.
Commissioner Saxon, any comments?
I think it's fine. I think there's, you know, my concern would be about, you know, some of the, anyone who's trying to present like a false ID or underage, and so maybe whatever, plan they have for making sure that they're, are checking the IDs, maybe if they have a scanner, or if they're watching the door to make sure that there's no pass offs. I'm not even sure if the age of the school is
It's a grammar school, I believe.
it's a grammar school, so there's very little chance for a grammar school student to be. But anyway, whatever their plan is for checking IDs and watching the door, just because there was at least a couple of people who talked about underage.
Commissioner Saxon, is there a plan, a written plan you would like them to submit to the board about
If they do
identifying
not,
patrons?
yeah, if they don't have one, I think I'd like to just to make sure that it's on the record that they have some kind of plan to ensure the safety of all of the underage people who are walking into the store to buy something else, just to make sure that they don't get their hands on the alcohol.
Okay. So
I would second a request for them to submit a plan too as well.
Chairman Joyce. Right, so it sounds like their vote is to grant this license with conditions that any change to the floor plan as submitted and on file with the board would require board approval, which would trigger a hearing before the board. No sales of single beers. And additionally, the board is requesting submission of a plan to identify any patron who is purchasing alcohol. Is that what I heard? Thank you. Item number 18, Post Road Company LLC, doing business as Beacon Hill Wine Market located at 55 Anderson Street, has applied for a retail package store wines and malt beverages license. Manager Jason Indelicato, closing time 11 p.m.
I have no issues, and I did agree to, this applicant agreed to no kegs, no singles, no sales after 9, and no malt. Is that correct? So we could add those on the face of the license.
That is correct. Those were all agreed to at the
So
hearing.
my vote would be to approve with those conditions.
Yeah, I would vote to approve with the agreed to conditions.
I agree.
Thank you. So granted with conditions of no kegs, no singles, no malt, and alcohol sales to cease at 9 p.m. Non-hearing transactions. The following are applying for a new common victualler license at a previously licensed location. Item number 1, Cool Shade Jamaican Restaurant LLC, doing business as Cool Shade Restaurant located at 388 Blue Hill Ave in Dorchester. Andre Williams, manager of record, hours of operation 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 2, Compass Group USA Inc., doing business as Compass Group USA Inc., located at 705 to 711 Boylston Street. Hours of operation Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Rodolfo Montero, manager of record.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 3, Just Salad, 185 Franklin Street LLC, doing business as Just Salad Store 77, located at 185 Franklin Street. Jennifer Richter, manager of record, hours of operation 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Item number 4, Delta Airlines Inc., doing business as Delta Sky Club, located at Logan Airport Terminal E in East Boston. Rebecca Basilla, manager of record, hours of operation 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Following have applied to make changes to their existing common victular license. Items 1 and 2, BRG Hospitality LLC, doing business as Blaze Pizza, located at 1282 Boylston Street and 961 Commonwealth Ave. Have applied to change the manager at both locations to Jamal Burod.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
And item number 3, Eddie's Pizza LLC, doing business as Eddie's Pizza, located at 203 Bowden Street in Dorchester, has petitioned to change the corporate name to Sauce on Bowden LLC.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
Following have applied for one-day amendments to their existing licenses. Item number 1, Charles River Speedway, doing business as the Charles River Speedway, located at 1420 to 1440 Soldiers Field Road in Brighton, has applied for a series of one-day amendments to their existing license to include an extension for the vendors on their license onto the patio. This is for Super Bean and Koji Club with designation and no crossover to the existing license at Notch Brewing. This is for July 5th through the 31st from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
And item number 2, Algonquin Hexagon LLC, doing business as the Quinn House, located at 217 Commonwealth Ave, has applied for a one-day amendment to their existing license to extend the closing hour to 11:30 p.m. on the roof deck and include audio broadcasting of the July 4th Boston Pops fireworks spectacular for members and guests only.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree.
The board has before them a list of applications for special one-day alcohol licenses, which have been administratively reviewed by staff and approved by the board. And one item on old and new business for acknowledgement. The board is in receipt of correspondence from Berkeley Place Restaurant Limited Partnership, doing business as Grill 23 Restaurant and Bar, located at 340 Stewart Street, notifying the board of a temporary closure that will last until the end of July for updates and renovations to the licensed premise.
Acknowledged.
And those are all of the items before the board today. That will adjourn this morning's hearing. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day and weekend.
Thank you.